This is an experience I had April of 2014. It's total blast. Total blast. Okay, so anyway, started off me in a vehicle, so to speak. This was an out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience, but it could have been 100% complete virtual reality experience. I mean, sometimes they really do take me out of body. And then sometimes it's just 100% virtual reality. Okay, so anyway, yeah, this is a total blast. Okay, so anyway, I started off with the Reptilian, which was Joel. At the time, I didn't know he was coming forward to give me all these experiences. That was before I named him. But anyway, he puts cliffs a lot in my scenarios. He just put a cliff recently. Well, not a cliff, but sort of like a cliff. I was on a platform. He just gave me that experience. But yeah, he's made me drive off a cliff just recently under a lucid dream with that redheaded dude. Under, that was, I don't know, how long ago was that? 8 months ago? I had those weird lucid dreams by him. And, well, anyway, those experiences are on here. But yeah, so that was definitely Joel, although I didn't know it was Joel at the time that gave me this experience. But anyway, okay, so he stuck me in a vehicle. He started the experience off with sticking me in a vehicle, and I was basically 30,000 feet in the air, and I just like started driving, and I took a quick right turn, and I drove off a cliff. But I didn't actually see the car fall or anything. And I flew out in the middle of the air over the ocean, and I paused. For whatever reason, he paused the scenario for a brief second. So I paused and stopped in midair, and everything turned bright aqua. So the Reptilian made me drive around some cliffs. I drove off a cliff, and I was out in midair in the middle of the ocean. That's when everything lit up bright and vivid, bright aqua. The sky turned vivid aqua blue, and the ocean, and everything around it. It was awesome. I was 25 to 30,000 feet in the air, and I was able to free fall at my own speed. So anyway, after that brief second, and after everything turned bright aqua, I was able to just fall at my own speed, and I made myself free fall very slowly. It was such a blast. I want some more experiences like this. But yeah, they can really give you some blasts if you ask them to. So anyway, so I started falling, and I was able to control my speed the way I was falling. It was so cool. And I made myself fall very slowly. And I'm sure he already programmed all that for me as well. But it was a blast. So anyway, so finally, I was able to free fall at my own speed, so I fell slowly. Once I hit the water, it did not hurt. And I actually did hit the water, and it did not hurt, of course, because I was falling very slowly. And there happened to be a woman, like a 50-year-old woman out there in the ocean about 20 or 10 feet from the shoreline, and I grabbed her arm so she could pull me into the shore, you know, to where the sand is. And, you know, that was kind of funny because I do know how to swim, but for whatever reason, Joel put that in the scenario. So then, once she swam me in to the shoreline, there was a restaurant. It was almost kind of like the restaurants at the resorts, because me and my sister did go to a resort back around 2006, 2007. And it was, you know, the restaurants are all open. You know, they don't have doors and stuff to them. They're under those, I don't know what they're called, canopies or whatever. And yeah, so the restaurant was totally open, and there was a table sitting there. And so anyway, after I hit the water, after the woman dragged me to shore, you know, I walked up to this restaurant, and there was a table sitting there. There was a student, a college student, sitting there with her cell phone. Well, she got up from the table and left her cell phone on the table. So I sat down at the table, and I picked up her cell phone. And like I say, it seemed like I sat there forever. I don't know why, but it seemed like I sat at the table forever and ever. So anyway, I picked up her cell phone, and there were some very realistic sex videos that played out. Okay, so these sex videos, the first video was like gay guy sex. The second one was straight sex. The third one was lesbian sex. And the funny thing is, you know, the beings, they have, you know, they just are very good technologically. And they can, anyway, they made these videos come to life. Like, they literally jumped out of the cell phone at me. I mean, these live action, you know, sex acts were just jumping out at me from the cell phone. And the cell phone was large. It was one of those very, very large cell phones. And the whole time that he was showing me these sex videos, I was just like rearing back, like a fan was blowing me back as he was making me watch these sex videos. And the whole time he was like arousing my whole body. It was really cool. It wasn't like localized arousal. It was like full body arousal. And this was so cool. He's done that many times before, but it feels really cool and really different than just localized arousal. But that was really cool how the sex videos just jumped out of the freaking cell phone and came to life. Yeah, they have the ability to do anything. Their technology is, I don't know what it is, but it's not physical. I know people say, oh, they got technology. Well, it's not physical because they're not physical. It's energetic technology. Or they're just, I don't know, they're just using their brain or something, their minds. But yeah, I don't really believe in the theory of technology, if you know what I'm saying, because their technology is not physical. Okay, so anyway, these very realistic sex videos played out, just boom, boom, boom. Gay sex, straight sex, lesbian sex. Of course, they make sure they get it all in there, you know. They show me everything. They go over and beyond the call of duty. So anyway, it seemed like I debated a long time when or if I was going to steal it. And they do make me steal things a lot. And, you know, my scenarios, they make me steal shit for whatever reason. So anyway, it seemed like I sat there a long time, though, debating whether or not I was going to steal the cell phone. And like I say, this experience was April of 2014. And I wrote a lot of these experiences down on some forums. And that actually was, this black woman actually was my avatar or whatever. Yeah, I liked it because my spirit guide is very, well, she's darker than that. It's very dark black. And so I just liked her skin tone. But yeah, my spirit guide is very, very black. She's even blacker than that. So anyway, but I used that as an avatar for a while, my profile avatar or whatever it's called. But anyway, I finally stole the cell phone. And, you know, I picked up the cell phone, I started walking away from the table, and then around the corner, all of a sudden, there was a hotel room. The reptilians put me a lot in motel rooms. I mean, over and over again. They even, it was probably Joel. Joel even messed with me in a motel room in 3D back in 2006, and this was in 3D. And he kept sitting on the bed, and I wasn't in an altered state of consciousness. I mean, that was totally 3D, and he did pull me out of body many times when I was staying in that motel room 2 to 3 nights. I didn't get any damn sleep the whole damn time, maybe an hour, the whole 2 or 3 nights I stayed there. But that video is on here. That was back in 2006. But they do put me in motel rooms a lot and mess with me in motel rooms in 3D. But anyway, so I opened the door to the motel room, although I'm not sure if I really remember opening the door. But anyway, I looked to my left, and there's this freakazoid, and here we go again, another black woman. They're always putting black people in my scenarios. And so I looked to my left, and there was this image, this like live, very realistic image. I don't know why I'm saying it's live, but anyway, it was a very realistic image. I mean, it wasn't like a picture, it was just real. It looked real. And there was this image to the left, almost like it was just kind of extended up from the from what do they put, the dressers that they put in the motel rooms. It was kind of like sitting there or just kind of floating there in midair. I can't remember which. But I looked to my left and there was this freakazoid black woman. But it wasn't her face or her neck or anything like that. It was just barely like, not really even a torso. It was just like a freakazoid kind of vagina. And then it had like 4, 5, or 6 short little legs or arms. I can't remember if it was really legs or arms, but it was a freakazoid black woman vagina. I know it's kind of weird that reptilians are very perverted. And they put a lot of black men and women in my scenarios. Except this time they didn't put a face or anything. So anyway, after that, oh yeah, whoops, okay, I wrote it down. Okay, so anyway, I do remember actually seeing like some pink areas, like the pink areas like kind of like just, stood out. Some pink areas. Because she was a black woman, so the pink areas stood out. I actually wrote this down. Okay, it was just, like I say, it was just thighs and legs. It wasn't like a torso, it was just legs, it was just half a body, so to speak. It was a freakish person. Okay, so anyway, so then I walked over, there were like 2 double beds. I walked past the first double bed and then I started sitting in the second double bed. And you gotta remember, I had already stolen the cell phone. Okay, so then I sat on the bed and I looked at the cell phone again, and the reptilian created some more vivid sexual videos for me to watch. Very, very realistic. I put in here, I'm leaving some parts out. But anyway, they were very, very realistic. I can't remember now what those videos were, but they, as far as I remember, those did the same thing. They kind of like came to life. Those sex videos that he showed me the second time around when I was sitting on the bed, they came to life, and then I just kept staring at it, and then he actually made me climax. And yeah, so that was more like localized climax. But he did arouse my whole body at the first part of the scenario. It was really cool. Oh, he was giving me these experiences and getting me off several times in a week during this 2014 period. So when I actually wrote this down, I left that part out. Okay. But yeah, he did actually get me off in this scenario. But yeah, they can make things come to life. It's really cool. They can make liquid stuff turn, physical. That's really cool. But, oh my God, it was just so much fun when I was able to just free fall like that from 30,000 feet. And I know I was about 30,000 feet because, I've been in airplanes before and I was freaking like that high. And I was just able, after he made me pause for a brief second, after he made everything turn aqua vivid blue, then I was just able to like fall at my own rate of speed. It was so weird. Yeah, so if I told myself to fall faster, I probably could have. But I told myself to fall very, very, very slowly. And I actually hit the water and everything, and it didn't hurt. But, yeah, and there was that other fun experience. I don't think Joel gave me that one, but that's on here too, where I was in the warehouse, where I was able to just like astral travel around the warehouse. I was just flying around the warehouse. I was going low, I was going high, and I was just flying around the warehouse. Oh, that was a total freaking blast. But I want some more experiences like that. I gotta ask for some more like that. But this morning, they actually, I was asking for an experience, and I don't know who it was. it was a reptilian, but I don't know. I don't think it was Joel, because he doesn't grab me tight like that. But this being, he grabbed me really tight, and he took me out of body, and he just started flying around with me. And I was like, really, you know, I couldn't even move. When they're like holding you, you can't even move. It's really, really tight. And at first I remember thinking, am I supposed to be, you know, like scared or whatever? But then I wasn't scared, because I knew he wasn't a mean one. But that's all that he did. And like I said, I was asking for an experience, you know, like out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience. But this being, that's all he did with me. He didn't know how to, or he just didn't have time. He just didn't create it yet or whatever. He didn't, you know, he didn't plop me down, and he didn't create a virtual reality experience for me. He just took me and we started flying around in the murky astral realm. And that was that. I don't know if he just didn't know how to give me, you know, virtual reality experience or whatever, but he didn't create any scenario for me. He just took me, grabbed me tight, and there was another being that did that as well, so that could have been that same being, the one that took me to that planet. And he was flying around with me. He held me really tight, and then I let go, and he let me, you know, float away from him and on that planet. That video is on here. But that could have been that same being, because that one likes to hold me tight like that. But I actually had a bad experience with one holding me tight after he abducted me. And those videos are on here too. That was titled The Vicious Reptilian Attack. Oh yeah, he held me very, very, very tight. When they hold you tight like that, when you're out of body like that, you know, whereas if you were physical and somebody was holding you tight, you would be able to move a little bit. But when you're like astral like that and out of body, when they hold you tight, everything is just perfect. You can't even move or anything. It's so weird. You know, you can't move at all. It's so weird like that. But yeah, Joel, he never grabs me like that. But, and I actually had some awesome lucid dreams this morning, but I don't know if that reptilian was responsible for those awesome lucid dreams that I had. I don't know. But yeah, that one reptilian came to my bedside and nudged me out of body, and then he was taking me down to hell, and that's when he held me really, really, really tight. That was my vicious reptilian attack videos, part 1 and part 2. I can't remember why I broke it up like that, part 1 and part 2. I think because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But those videos are on here from that's from over a year ago. And those happened, that was in 2013, I think, that experience. 2013? Yeah, I think 2013. But, I mean, at the time I was really naive. I didn't know, you know, I was talking to a vicious reptilian. I didn't know that. I knew I was talking to a reptilian, but I didn't know I was talking to a vicious reptilian. And he happened to show up when I was talking to him late at night. He showed up 9 o'clock in the morning and gave me that experience.